But hello. Hi. Anyways, the video for today. I don't know about you, but I have been getting some back shots from the universe lately, back to back. I had a completely different idea for the video of today, but I felt something different. I wanted to go over something that we don't ask ourselves enough. It's very interesting, this feeling like you're talking to a wall during this humble beginnings, which I don't mind. And obviously, I've been in contact with a couple of you in the comments, which I highly appreciate. It's just that sometimes you feel like a crazy person. It's nothing new to me. Like I shared before, I've been drastically simplifying my life in many areas. And that brought me back to a question that I often ask myself, because it's a big topic in my life, a thing that I highly value. But if we highly value something, it won't hurt to ask ourselves, isn't it as if something is burning here? But it isn't. If we really value something, it won't hurt to check in once in a while with ourselves if our lives are still congruent or in line with those values. And I've been doing that. One of those values, or one of my biggest values rather, is freedom. And most people want freedom, but freedom from what, actually? Because those are very different questions. Some people want freedom from work, from expectations, from debt, from emotional burdens, from anything. And I have been asking myself the same question. But if you would have all the freedom that you wish to have tomorrow, would you be able to handle it? I used to believe that freedom was about having more, gaining more options, more space. But the older I get, the more I realize that freedom, real freedom to me, looked like having less. Less weight, emotional, physical, material, which I will get back to in a moment. Less noise, less obligation, less of what doesn't really belong to me. I guess I have to close my window because you can hear the waterfall. Give me a moment. So, a little backstory when it comes to this. For a long time, I had this urge to drastically minimalize my life when it came to material things, but also when it came to my business, with having certain systems, employees, and in different areas of my life. I had this feeling like I have to simplify things because it started to feel heavy. And I came from a period of time that also connects back to the way I grew up and certain things I had to move through and to experience and to learn to, hold another perspective around it. But I took the route of believing that certain achievements and goals were the things that eventually would put me in a position where I could feel free, so to say, right? And then I started traveling through Asia. You can say I lived in Asia, mainly Thailand, Vietnam, for a year. And then I got this extra confirmation of the fact that all the stuff that I had back home, I didn't even think about it for the whole year. Like, none. I didn't really needed it. It was just there for in case that I would ever needed it. But the things that I really needed were significantly less than all the stuff that I was, you can say, hoarding at home. You know, how much stuff we have. And I will get back to this in a moment. But that made me realize extra, like, oh, I have this urge for such a long time already. And that was the whole confirmation for me to indeed simplify and get rid of material that I didn't really need it, because it was starting to weigh me down. So the very thing that I had reached out to in hopes to give me the feeling of safety was now weighing me down and holding me hostage. You can almost say hostage. Why? Because when I define freedom for myself, and I've defined it before, it is a combination of alles voor je festival vind je. Come on. No, it's okay, I guess. Anyways, financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. So basically, being able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, and from which location I want, right? So every time that I take a moment and get back to my definition of my main value, I am able to very quickly point out where I'm not in line with that value. Big part of that were the enormous amount of materialistic things that I had that I didn't need. The intention was already very clear, and the vision of me just wanting to travel and to, go around and experience life in a way that felt completely free to me. And from that space, I could feel into where I eventually would like to anchor. Because I assume that at a certain point, you want some sort of stability again. So after a year, when I got back home, it was another thing because I had lent out my car. When I got back, the car was broke. It can happen. It's no problem at all. It's a car. But the point being is that then I decided to get rid of the car, and also slowly starting to, does that make sense in this sentence? Decompose. No, to slowly get rid of my stuff, like donating a lot of stuff to the church, like a lot of my clothing. Like I saw everything getting less and less, selling certain things like big instruments and stuff. But the main goal was to have less stuff. So I've been, giving a lot of things away consistently, especially after my traveling through Asia and having to make a lot of big decisions also when it came to business, also having quite some challenges and things that I had to move through. Coming back, I came back into a house that I felt, apart from the materialistic things, I felt very detached from the place, the energy. Now, it has also been a place where I've lived together for quite some years. I had a relationship of 11 years that ended, and nothing bad at all. A matter of fact, we even went on vacation after we already separated, but still it was attached to an old part of me, an old part of my life. And I felt, on top of already feeling that extreme urge to simplify and to detach and to position myself in a way that I completely felt free based on my definition of freedom, there was also this component of feeling that it was time to let go of the energetic weight, right? And again, it wasn't a dramatic ending, like, at all. Complete opposite, but still, on top of everything else, I had to go through this separation after being in this deep intertwinement. Is that an English word? Intertwinement. I know intertwined is. Anyways, I still had to move through that separation with, energetically having to let go. And then on top of that, coming back into a place where a lot of things were still reminding me of that period. It also felt like it was weighing me down of completely rediscovering myself, right? Because walls have memory, I would say, and energetically things can, keep reminding you of certain things, and even if they are not like extremely painful, or it can still hold you back from moving fully forward, with the emphasis on fully. Because But back to the story. While I was traveling through Asia and living there, basically, I was also restructuring my whole business and redefining my values. And it was a consistent journey of redefining. Because I knew I want to operate and I want to create a life that is fully congruent with who I am at a soul level. And I want to be of value, I want to be of service. And I want to use all the things that I've learned and that I came across and that I myself desperately needed when I felt stuck, overwhelmed, knowing that you have all this potential and genius inside of you, but not having the right systems and tools to get it out fully, to live fully from who you really are. So I've created my own system to bring people back in full congruence and build a business or become part of an organization based on who they really are and what they really want, which naturally will lead to fulfillment, right? Oh, oh man, it's. I see that so many people are stuck in a life that doesn't feel like theirs anymore, and I'm so passionate about that because I know what it has meant for me and what it would mean to me if I would came across a system like that hits all points, mentally, spiritually, but also materially, physically. How do you bring that into the world in a way that suits you? Because everybody is so different, and you can learn all kinds of things. You can learn several business models, and it's all possible. It's all there. The information is not the problem, but the application of the information is what creates the freedom in a way that is congruent with who you really are. But that being said, that is my soul, that is my passion, because it's very personal to me. And at the same time, it created a new situation where I would get confronted with another cap on one of my highest values, and that is freedom. And to repeat myself, time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Now, to give you an example, if you do one-on-one clients, of which at this moment I only take 3 clients maximum each cycle. Because when I take on clients, first of all, I'm fully devoted, right? So I have to be honest to myself, how much can I take on, besides all the other things that I have going on, until the quality tanks. The thing is, with this model, only I can do what I do at this moment. It's not something that I give out of hands, meaning that it's capped. And I've always known that I didn't want to trap myself inside of this model, because I already knew that it would cap 2 of the 3 main definitions when it comes to freedom and what it means to me. I am a person that will always try, right, to feel how it really feels, rather than to draw conclusions without knowing what I'm actually talking about. So the last couple of months I took a route to try and to experience how it is to get back to social media and to be actively on it. And it's not for me, because it's also going against the definition of what freedom really means to me. And that's just to give you a couple of examples how I consistently come back to myself to redefine or either remind myself of the definition of my values, so I can make sure that I'm living my life in congruence with that. Because we tend to forget very quickly, or we tend to get overthrown or distracted with all kinds of things outside of ourselves. I also have this philosophy, which I also use with clients, asking what if we change the conclusion of we need more to what do we need less of, right, in our lives? What are the things that are weighing us down from that what we already are? So what are the things that are standing in the way? And let's remove those first. Because your natural state, let's say your natural state is up here, right? It's natural. If we would make it visual often, it's all the things that are weighing you down that make it almost impossible to be, live, breathe your natural state. So if we would turn the whole challenge around and ask ourselves, okay, what do we need to remove so we can live in that natural state again? So that everything that is meant to find us will find us because we are an inherent match to it. Because we remove the things that aren't really us, we remove the things that are weighing us down, we remove the things that we don't really need up there. Like it's just noise, it's chaos. And I think that is, to weave everything back together, those things exist in different layers, like materialistic things, but also energetically. What are the things that are weighing you down that you still have to let go of? Which you have to energetically cut loose so you can move on. What are all those material things? It seems like nothing, and sometimes we project a form of safety onto having certain things, hoarding certain things. Maybe that's very exaggerated, but hoarding, keeping all these things that are weighing us down. It's not for nothing that when you clean your house and you change your environment, you feel better. It does something energetically. So I've been simplifying. The last week I've been witnessing my stuff shrinking, and I never felt more free in my life. And it's just materialistic things. Besides the fact that a lot of people are very happy and can actually use those things that are just laying around here and weighing me down. So I projected my value, that what I thought I needed, onto things that actually create the opposite experience. So what are those things? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what are those things that are weighing us down from what we already are? It's the same with some people think they need more discipline, but what do you need to remove so you create an environment and a situation for yourself where it's easier to be disciplined? What do you need? What do we really need to live our lives in a way that is fully congruent with who we are and what we feel and what we know to be true within us? And if we keep asking the same questions, we will get the same answers. And if for a long time nothing changes, or not in a way that is satisfying, because everything is moving, everything is consistently changing. So the question is, are the things that changing, do they actually bring fulfillment? Do they bring the peace and joy that you actually want in your life? And with changing the question, you can position yourself to receive better answers. Because sometimes you need something different. You need something different. So I've been restructuring that, and I've been questioning myself those things. And based on that, I have made some decisions. I create another business, and it's uncomfortable. Like I said, I've been getting some back shots from the universe. Why do you have to say it like that? Little child you are. I have a very interesting blueprint. It consistently forces me to ask the deeper questions and to simultaneously position myself in a way that more fulfillment can reach me. And that's where I'm actually thankful for. But it's not always comfortable. It's not always comfortable. But the discomfort, when you listen to it, and listening with the whole system, with the whole body, acting accordingly, brings you to that what you actually want. I genuinely believe that. And lately, I've been feeling a lot, and I came to one main conclusion, and that is that I just want to move towards more joy, more joy, more being, more loving, more pleasure, more creation, but in a different energy, because I feel like, not only collectively, but also just within myself, we have been through a couple of growing through a couple of things, having to, deal with quite some intense energy. And I just really feel, I was talking with my brother about this, I just really feel at some point we have to make the decision to snap out of it and say like, okay, but now we want to direct our energy and focusing it towards a more joyful, qualitative life experience. That is the point of alchemy. That is what I feel right now, right? We have all this energy, all this compost, all those things that we had to move through, and now we can use that energy. How do you say that? And now we can use that energy as a power source to fuel another direction. Because there's so much available to us. There's so much available to us. But sometimes we get stuck in the thinking, the processing, the identifying with being in constant transformation, being in constant healing, being in constant process. And sometimes we are getting blind for the fact that it is up to us to recognize that there's more than just being in process, right? Than just being in the ring boxing. There should also be moments of relaxing and enjoyment and sharing our love with people that we deeply care about, and creating the things that we really want to create, doing the things and being in the being and in the doing of what we came here to create, move forward, what we came here to be a steward of, and focus all our attention on the things that we want to bring into life. And that's often way simpler than we make ourselves believe. It comes down to simplifying, getting very clear on what it is, what you want, getting very clear on what it is, what you want to create, what are your actual values, and creating a system for yourself to remind yourself of who you are and what you are creating, so you can keep doing it. So you can keep doing it in a feeling of joy, because you feel that you are in control of your life, that you are sitting at the forefront of your own life, and that you do have Mm. And that often when you are waiting for permission or confirmation, that your higher self, your soul, is actually waiting for you to decide that you already have all those things. And that it's up to you to draw the line and to put all the things that you have learned and all the things that you know that you value, that you know that you are, into consistent practice. At least that's what I'm gonna do, what I'm already doing, and what I will continue doing this last, is it 5 months of the year? Because the time never stops. So ask yourself, what does freedom really mean to me? And not what do I need, but what do I need to let go of? What do I need to release to experience more of my natural state? More of who I already am. How do I create an atmosphere and reality for myself where I can continuously check myself on those things? Define what's not me so I can be and become more of me. Again, that's what I'm going to do. Not gaining more, but releasing more. Crawl before you can walk. Walk before you can run. It's in the daily compounding of skills that are actually supportive of what you want to build and create while you are here. And you got it. You got it. Oh. Don't underestimate yourself. You know you have absolutely everything to create, bring to life that what is whispering day in, day out. That what keeps you up at night. That what scares you and excites you at the same moment. Follow that. That's it for today. I would say honor your inner space and carry yourself with grace.
And today, I feel something rare, an opening, an exceptional energetic passage.
See, it's this nonsense that is keeping you stuck. Get off the internet, okay?